It was one horrible night when my parents thought they could wrong me and get away with it. They were going to pay dearly. My life had been torn apart by betrayal in our home in Spokane, Washington. That house had always been my safe place. Every single beam was a testament to my hard work. But at dinner my father slammed his fist on the table. "You need to be out by dawn. This house belongs to your cousin now." My mother avoided my eyes. She was an accomplice in this scheme. My cousin John, who was lazy and living in Arizona, hadn't cared about this place for years. Still, they decided to give him my legacy. I had built this place, I had bled for it, and I was going to make them sorry. In the morning, my dad's words were a heavy weight on me. I had poured my heart into this house thinking it would keep us all together. I lived with my parents, and my paychecks from my tech job kept us going. 3 years earlier, their business went under. I paid $60,000 toward the mortgage over the course of a year. The bank's threats were still there. Eviction was a real possibility. My mother was shaking, and my father mumbled, "We're finished." I used up my savings during late nights and saved the deed. Their relief seemed to be enough for me. I painted the study a blue-green color, fixed the counters, and repaired the deck. Every single task was my promise to keep our family together. John in Arizona with his sales job barely ever texted me. I mentioned the bills and he laughed. "That's your responsibility, Emily." I sent him photos of the study's blinds and the cedarwood floors at dusk. He never replied. It was for the family. I would trace the walls at night, claiming them as mine. But problems started to arise. My mother's requests for money, for bills, and my father's requests for cash for van repairs, after he got laid off, were all on me. I imagined having my own children in that study. The house was my proof that I could save us all. I missed the warning signs. My dad's happy conversations with John. My mom's praise for his achievements in Phoenix. Not my salary raises. I brushed it off. We were family, right? Last night's surprise attack broke me. Giving the house to John was theft. In the study, I looked at the desk, which I bought with money from my first contract. It wasn't just wood, it was mine. The stove, the fan, the curtains, all bought with my money. If they wanted me out, I would take what was mine. John, who had contributed nothing, was not going to get my hard work. I grabbed my tablet, my hands steady. There were no tears, just plans. By noon, I called my old college friend Sophia, now a great lawyer. In my room, I told her everything. My father's fist, my mother's silence, John's new prize. Sophia asked, "Any deeds?" I thought about my great-aunt who owned this place before she died 2 years ago. I had just thought the house went to my parents. "Give me half an hour," Sophia said. I walked back and forth, my great-aunt's face clear in my mind. Her stories about building this home. "Emily, it's yours," she had told me. I thought it was just conversation. I went through an old trunk and found photos of her by the pine tree hugging me. The pain was sharp. They had hidden her wishes. Sophia's call came through urgently. "Emily, jackpot." She had found my great-aunt's will at the Spokane County Courthouse. They had hidden it. It named me as the sole heir, signed 5 years before her death. I sank down shaking. How had I not known this? Sophia's voice was sharp. They knew. The truth completely destroyed me. They had let me pay $60,000, fix everything, and then secretly planned to give it all to a person who had done nothing. Anger and pain collided inside me. I held my great-aunt's chipped glass. Her promise was real. They had tried to erase her gift. Why? Because of John's charm and my compliance. I was going to fight back, Sophia said. "The will is solid. We're going to win." I grabbed a notebook and made a list of bank statements and receipts. Sophia said, "We need to file a claim at dawn. Speed is everything. They thought you would just leave. Not a chance." At dawn, the house was quiet. My parents and cousin were gone. I made a list of my purchases. The stove, the desk, the fan, the curtains. Every item represented my fight. I called Sophia to finalize our plans. "Your payments are key," she said. I gathered every single receipt. Sophia told me to get an affidavit first. I looked up River City Movers online. I called Mike and told him it was an urgent job for today. He agreed. A truck would be here by 1. I listed my things and set a price. The address was ready. I put tags on the items. The china cabinet stayed, but the stools were marked. It was calming. At 10 a.m. my neighbor Mrs. June saw me pacing. "Emily, are you all right?" I told her I was moving out. It's a tough situation, I said. She hugged me. You deserve better. Mr. Lopez, another neighbor, stopped by. He had known my great aunt. She built this place for you, he said. I nodded and could not speak. Their kindness gave me the strength to continue. At 1 o'clock a green truck showed up. I directed them. They moved quickly. The desk, the stove, the fan were all wrapped up. Watching them felt like my life was being taken apart, but I knew John wasn't getting my stuff for free. Sophia called to tell me we were all set. By noon the house felt empty. A knock on the door and John walked in with a smug look. Where's all the stuff? He snapped. I took my things, I said calmly. He turned red. This house is mine. I took a step forward. I paid for all this. You gave nothing. He laughed in my face. Money doesn't buy the house. I held my ground. You were not here. I saved this house. He laughed even harder. Poor Emily, the savior. I was chosen. You were the wrong choice, I said. He checked the other rooms. The curtains were gone. I looked him in the eye. My money. He grabbed his phone. Dad, she's taken everything. I stood there silently. He hung up and glared at me. They're coming back tonight. You're finished. I pointed at the door. Get out. He stomped out, slamming the door behind him. My heart was racing, but I felt a strong sense of purpose. That evening at Sophia's apartment in Spokane, my things were put away. My phone buzzed. My dad's calls were ignored. John's calls brought them back to the house. My dad left a voicemail. He sounded shocked. There's a stranger here. My mother's voice was high-pitched. What did you do? I didn't reply. Sophia's move with the will exposed their deception. The house was sold to a real estate company. My dad called. I answered without emotion. You hid the will. He stuttered. It was for the family. It was for John. I cut him off. I hung up. Sophia said the deed is gone. I nodded. It was a cold comfort. They had lost the house because of their own actions. I was sad, but I also felt free. A few months later, I was in my new flat in Spokane. I had a new job at a tech startup where my work was appreciated. At night, I arranged my desk and my stove and knew they were mine. I hadn't talked to my family. Their numbers were blocked. John had to scramble to find a condo in Arizona. It had cost him a lot of money. My parents were renting a small place in Spokane and were avoided by the neighbors. It was their choice and their downfall. Sophia smiled at me. You are unstoppable. My value was not in that house. It was in my fight, my life, and my strength.